What is up? Welcome to another live stream done in one night because I have nothing better to do. Wow. Sorry, I'm currently dying inside. Anyway, we're going to be reading chapters 10 through 15, or from, basically from first things first to slight misunderstanding. Sorry. Bonding with bacon. I'm sorry. Alright. We're going to be reading more Childish, tomtord fanfiction by Anon Knows. Yeah, so here we go. Chapter 10, First Things First. Matt stood there, silently confused. Ed had just finished his explaining as to who this Tord person was, and why he had the motivation to kidnap Tim. Or was it Tam? Oh, who cares? The point is, Matt had no idea what Ed was talking about. He's literally the reason we live in separate apartments. Wait, hold on, I got my accent mixed up. No. Matt. He's literally the reason why we live in separate apartments now, instead of just one house. Ed sighed. Matt looked down at Ed's tired face and simply shrugged. Hello. Well, that all sounds like nonsense to me, but if you believe in imaginary people, then I guess I'm along for the ride. Matt grinned. Ed wasn't sure whether he should feel disappointed that Matt's memory was getting worse, or happy that his friend wants to stay by his side despite having no recollection of anything around him. Thanks? Ed shrugged. No problem. Now let's get going. Matt grinned, marching up the pavement. Matt, where are you going? Ed ran after him, grabbing his sleeve, stopping him in his tracks. Oh, well, he said he went towards those warehouses at the end of the town. We can't just show up without a plan. Why not? Matt, Tord is dangerous. I feel terrible for having to treat him like he's our enemy, but I don't really have a choice at this point. Well, like you said, everyone deserves a second chance. I said that? Probably. I appreciate the support, but I really do. But that doesn't change the fact that Tord could easily kill us both. The odds of us getting close enough to even offer him a second chance are just too small. I don't want to risk losing another friend, Ed sighed. Another friend? You mean Tim? Because we're getting him back? No, Matt, I mean you. Tord almost killed us. We don't know if Tom is okay at this point. You're the only one I have left. Matt stared at Ed for a while, unsure of how to respond to this random outburst. I mean, he could hug him again, but... Oh, that helped last time. Before Matt could really react, tears began welling in Ed's eyes upon seeing his normal upbeat man so sad. Matt's entire personality shifted. This always seemed to happen whenever one of his friends was having any kind of emotional distress. He'd go from being his goofy and oblivious self to his still and oblivious but caring other self. I'm doing pretty good. He kneeled down slightly so that he was eye level with Ed, and ruffled Ed's hair playfully, making it messier than it already was. Ed looked up at Matt, his eyes seemingly deceptively bigger due to the heavy amount of tears threatening to pour from them. Ed, I'm fine. You're fine. And I'm sure Tom is fine. Even as a kid, he was able to hold his own if it was necessary. Come on, let's just go back to the apartment and make a plan. Matt smiled. You remembered Tom's names. You remembered Tom's names right. Tom's name right. Oh, you remembered Tom's name. All right. Let's go back for now. Ed smiled back, tears falling from his cheeks. Oh no, you're still crying. What do I do? Matt panicked, slowly transitioning back. Calm down, Matt. I'm fine now. These are more like happy tears. Ed chuckled. Matt stood back up, watching Ed wipe away some of the tears with Matt's jacket sleeve. Ship it with FedEx! I'm sorry. I'm dying. Matt sighed. Now he had to wash the thing once Ed was done with it. But for some reason, he didn't really care. As long as Ed was okay. Then so was he. Matt zoned out for the 100th time that day, thinking about what they'd do even if they found Tam. Wait, no, Tim! Why could his caring self remember and he couldn't? Before Matt could get too deep in his thought, Ed grabbed his hand and quite literally yanked him from his thoughts. Whoa! Where are we going? Matt asked. Back to the apartment to come up with a plan, remember? Of course you don't remember, Ed sighed. For real, it's so cute. He was no longer dragging Matt towards the apartment complex. Instead, they just walked faster than normal. However, Ed was still holding Matt's hand as they walked, a detail that neither of them wished to point out or comment on. Hello. Maybe we should talk about the plan on the way, Matt shrugged. Good idea. Well, honestly, I don't even know where to start. If Tord didn't die in the explosion, then that means he's had plenty of time to recover. So he's probably prepared for anything, Ed began. Including a mini Tim? Matt chuckled. I doubt he's that prepared. Ed grinned, laughing a little at Matt's joke. Huh. Maybe he's hiding out in one of those abandoned warehouses. It's all that's out there. Matt shrugged. You're right. There isn't any other place to hide. Wow, good thinking, Matt. Ed complimented the taller man. Matt wasn't used to being complimented on being smart, so he kind of liked it. Of course, he preferred being complimented on his good looks, but the sentiment was still there nonetheless. We could try sneaking in, Matt thought out loud. We could, but it might be difficult. We'd probably have to sneak in at night while his guard is down. Ed added, Smart. Matt nodded. I just don't get how Tord's kept Tom captive this long. He's not exactly known for being good with children. Wait. Maybe he isn't alone. What do you mean? Think about it. There's no way Tord can handle a child on his own, much less Tom. He must be getting help from others. Ed finished. Others? Oh, fine. Others? How many people does it take to take care of a child? If Tord is one of them, then a lot. It takes a lot of people. Ed sighed. Uh-oh, that makes things a lot harder. Oh, and there might be just one thing I forgot to mention. What is it? The manager told me that Tom probably has no memory of us. So, there's a chance he won't even want to come back with us. It'd be more like a double kidnapping to him. Well, that sucks. Yes, it does. But you told me that Tad hates Tim. He's probably subjecting him to all kinds of torture, even if he doesn't remember us. He'll probably prefer anyone other than Tad. Tad? Tim? Oh, you mean Tord and Tom. Sometimes it can get hard to translate what you're saying, but you're probably right. I doubt Tord would even try being nice to Tom, There's no way Tom could be attracted to him. Ed grinned. Ugh. Chapter 11. Health. Tord knew he was supposed to be focused on the meeting he was currently being forced to sit through, but he just couldn't. Not when he knew that the only one keeping Tom from running away was that wimpy medic. Tom was a pretty decent fighter as an adult, and while Tom may be younger now, something told Tord he still wouldn't back down from a fight so easily. Red leader, are you all right? One of Tord's soldiers whispered. Red leader, are you all right? One of Tord's soldiers whispered. Tord was able to snap out of the trance. He looked around if anyone was noticed. He was mentally absent from their meeting. Fortunately, the only one who had noticed was a soldier sitting next to him. He felt a small wave of relief wash over him. Once he realized the soldier was currently leading the meeting, was still talking, disregarding Tord's obvious cluelessness. Tord looked over to his left, only to see a worried expression on the soldier sitting next to him. All right. She asked him a question. I'm perfectly fine. Oh, I'm perfectly fine, Tord whispered back. The soldier had a look of uncertainty on her face, but she only received a glare in response. I'm dying. I need to clean my room because my trumpet's currently out because I was failing at it. I may or may not have, thrown my trumpet. Because I'm a spoiled brat and I got pissed off. Alright, back to what we were doing. She sighed and turned her attention back to the meeting. Tord hated these new soldiers sometimes. Half of them were weak and pathetic, while the rest were either too nosy, too concerned for his well-being, or they were just complete and utter suck-ups, I mean. His old soldiers weren't like them at all. They kept to themselves. They could stand their ground, and they never asked Tord about his health or personal life. Well, most of them didn't. Paul and Patrick did cross that line on occasion, but Tord had always been able to put up with them since they were good soldiers. Fortunately, most of the Red soldiers were killed in their most recent battle against the group of rebels that fought against the Red Army. They managed to keep them from completely obliterating their army, but not without a large amount of casualties. On the bright side, most of these new soldiers were scared of him, which was good. Which was a good place as any to start. Fear led to obedience. Wait, what was this meeting about again? Tord tried to focus on the meeting again. And that is the latest update we have. The soldier that was leading the meeting finished. He sat back down and turned to Tord. In fact, everyone in the room turned to Tord. Sir, is there anything else we need to discuss? We've already gone over the basic topics. A soldier with blonde hair cleared his throat. No. That will be all. Return to your stations at once, Tord replied. The soldiers complied and left one by one. Tord stayed put, waiting for everyone to leave. Once they did, he practically went limp in the chair. His muscles still ached from sleeping in that uncomfortable chair. Hey! I'm sorry. Not to mention, he was already tired again. He couldn't imagine how Tom would have felt if he had slept in the chair instead. He'd probably be in as much pain as Tord was in. Dang it. That would have been perfect. Tord stood up and stretched his bones cracking slightly. Better check on the brat, Tord sighed, referring to Tom. He walked down the corridor. Ah! What? No. That was nothing. He walked down the corridor towards the infirmary to see the medic had gotten all the glass out of Tom's head. He opened the door and was immediately greeted with a shout. Mr. Tord! Tom... The heck? Tom shouted gleefully. Tord didn't have time to react before Tom ran... Tord didn't have time to react before Tom ran up to him and hugged him. Hello, Tom. Before Tord could finish his sentence, he was interrupted by muffled shouting coming from behind Tom. The medic was tied down to a chair with bandages, some of them covering his mouth. Be quiet, meanie! Tom yelled. Tord felt an odd sense of pride. Tord sighed and walked towards the medic, removing all the bandages. Well, thank you so much, sir. The medic smiled nervously. Thomas, why did you tie up the medic? Tord asked. He was mean, so he hurt me. Tom replied, pointing to the back of his head. Tord looked at the medic, silently asking him a question. Don't worry, sir. I managed to get all the glass out before, well, you know. The medic sighed. Thomas, let me see the back of your head, Tord began. Only if you'll stop calling me Thomas, Tom argued. Thomas. Thomas, Tord growled, losing his patience. Mr. Tord. Tom replied, crossing his arms. Clearly there was no arguing with this kid. Tord didn't remember Tom ever having this much sass as a child. Fine, but just for now. Let me see the back of your head, Tom. Tord sighed. Okay. Tom smiled. Tord couldn't believe it. He was pretty sure adult Tom was easier to handle. Tom turned around to Tord, so Tord could have a clear view of the now healed wound. How, though? I'm sorry. From what Tord could tell, the medic managed to get out to clean all the blood out of his hair and remove the glass. Tord removed some of Tom's hair out of the way to reveal a few stitches. Wow. Was it that bad? Ugh. I didn't do many tests, but based on the fact that he managed to overpower me and tie me to a chair only using a roll of bandages, I'll say his brain is functioning well. The medic sighed. I wouldn't have done it, but you had me. Tom stuck his tongue out at the medic. So how exactly did you get the procedure done? Tord asked. I promised him a lollipop. The medic shrugged. I never got one either. Tom pouted. Tord pouted. Did I say pouted? I can't tell. Tord tried his best to hold back his laughter from Tom's little tantrum. I got through it, but once he realized I didn't actually have a lollipop, he freaked out. The medic explained. Mr. Tord, you're so much nicer than this liar, Tom exclaimed. Tord had to hold back his laughter again. Nice? Him? Now that was laughable. Whatever. Good work, soldier. Tord nodded. Thank you, sir. The medic saluted, feeling pretty proud of himself. However, next time, try not to get overpowered by a child with no eyes. Tord chuckles. Of course, sir. The medic frowned. Hey, hold on. Hey, I might not have no eyes, but I'm not blind, Tom whined. Tord chuckled and led Tom out of the infirmary. While you're at it, go help the guy in the lab with the cure to Tom's situation. I can't say it. Tord shouted towards the medic on their way out. Can do, sir, the medic shouted after them. Hey, Mr. Tord, where are we going? Tom asked. Oh my god. Yeah, really no one is here. Tom asked. We're going to visit some friends of mine. They'll probably have to watch you when I'm busy, so I think it's important that they meet you. Tord explained. They aren't gonna be like that guy in the lab coat, are they? Only if you do something bad. What are their names? Paul and Patrick. I'm sorry. Okay. No. Alright, let's do this. Parental instincts. Chapter 12, parental instincts. I think that's what this chapter is, because we started on first things first. Yeah, so this would be chapter 12. Tord led Tom down a long corridor until they got to the barracks. Since they weren't in any serious danger at the moment, Tord could only assume Paul was taking a nap while Patrick was probably being forced to keep watch, just in case anyone tried to wake Paul up. This little theory of his was confirmed after they rounded the corner and saw Patrick standing outside the door that led to the barracks. Patrick! Patrick! Tord shouted, scaring Patrick. Oh, Red Leader! My apologies, I didn't see you there. What is it, sir? Patrick asked. Where's Paul? Tord already had a pretty good idea of where he was, but he figured he'd still ask. He's, cleaning one of his guns? Patrick shrugged, trying his best to come up with a lie. Clearly, Tord wasn't buying it. Heck, it even seemed like Tom didn't believe it. Whatever. Look, I need to speak with both of you. It's about Tom. Tom? Yes. Wait, did Paul not tell you? Yes, sir, he's barely said a word to me since I got back from the recon. Patrick sighed. Why do I trust him with anything? Tord mumbled to himself. Patrick's eyes suddenly shifted to Tom. Hey, it's that kid Matt was looking for. Oh my god. I don't know. Patrick exclaimed. Tord was slightly startled at the sudden mention of Matt's name. What? Tord asked. Patrick reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a crumpled piece of paper, holding it out to Tord. On the paper was a surprisingly well-drawn picture of Tom as a child. There were a few small details written in the poster, but the only one Tord could really focus on was the fact that the reward was $50. Seriously? Some guy named Matt was handing these out. I assume he was just looking for a son. Who you kidnapped? Patrick was clearly confused. Patrick, Tom isn't Matt's child. He's a friend of his. And Tom here somehow reverted back to a child, and now Matt and his other friend, Ed, are looking for him. Tord tried explaining. Okay. Wait, why do those names sound familiar? I've told you about them before. It's just been a while. Ed and Matt are old friends of mine. But as for Tom, Tord leaned over so Tom couldn't hear what he was saying. He's never been my friend. He said so himself. He's the reason I had to go through all those stupid surgeries, and now I'm trying to get revenge on him. Tord whispered, I get it. You captured him while he was vulnerable so you could torture him once we turn him back to normal. Patrick finished Tord's thought for him. Tord was a little proud. Patrick was able to figure out everything pretty quickly. So was Paul. They were his most dependable soldiers for a reason. Exactly. Now, will you please tell Paul to wake up? Tord smirked, crossing his arms. Patrick wanted to slap himself. He should have known their leader would see through such an obvious lie. Rather than slap himself, he quickly snuck into the barracks. Mr. Tord, who was this Matt person Patrick was talking about? Tom asked. Don't worry about him, Tom. He isn't important. I'm dying. Tord replied. Well then, what was that Ed person you mentioned? And what was that about them looking for me? Tom asked again. Seriously, Tom, you don't need to worry about either of them. Tord trailed off. He had to think of a lie, something that would get to Tom to stop asking about them. Hello. Something that would keep him from looking for Ed and Matt. Are they nice? Or are they mean? Tom asked. Perfect. They're mean, Tom. Very mean. They want to try to take you away, Tord lied. What? But I don't want to leave you. I like it here, Tom cried. This was admittedly the first time Tord had ever heard someone say that they actually liked their red base. Don't worry, Tom. You're safe here. Tord had to bite his own tongue to keep himself from laughing. Yay! Tom cheered, hugging Tord. Thomas, rule one around here. No hugs. Tord growled. No hugs? Why not? They're hugging, Tom whined, pointing to something in front of them. Tord looked up from Tom. Paul looked like he was about to fall over, and his arms around Patrick. And it seemed like Patrick was the only thing keeping him up at the moment. Sorry, sir. Paul isn't fully awake right now. I'm sorry. Patrick sighed. Polly the parrot. Okay, I'm sorry. And that's my problem. Tord narrowed his eyes. Paul, wake up. Patrick desperately tried to shake Paul awake. Not right now, Pat. I'm too tired. Paul mumbled. Paul, this is serious. Red Leader needs us. Patrick whispered harshly. Nope. Oh, God. Paul, you done screwed up, boy. Paul, nope. Paul mumbled once more. But I swear if you don't wake up right now, I will hide all of your secrets from you again. I'm up. Paul shouted. He quickly pulled himself off of Patrick, saluting. Good to see you're fully awake with us, Paul. Tord chuckled. Sorry, Red Leader, Paul shrugged, pulling a cigarette from his pocket. Patrick, yesterday I had a discussion with Paul that he apparently forgot to mention to you. I have work I must attend to, but I can't get anything done if I'm watching Tom. Tord began. All right. Patrick patiently waited for Tord to continue. Until we can return him back to normal, I will need someone to watch him while I'm working. I've decided that those people will be you and Paul. Tord finished. Oh, okay. Patrick shrugged. Now, I know you may... Wait, really? Oh, now I know you may... Wait, really? Tord couldn't believe what he was hearing. He had to argue with Paul to get him to agree, but Patrick didn't even hesitate. Sir, it's not like we have anything else to do around here. It's been relatively quiet. Not to mention it only makes sense for you to choose us. We've been in this army the longest, Patrick explained. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm kind of dying inside right now. I don't know why. Oh, well, in that case, I need you to watch him now. Tord shrugged. Yes, sir, Patrick saluted. He looked over to see Paul about to light a cigarette. Patrick quickly slapped the cigarette out of his hand and stomped it out. Hey, Pat, why? Paul shouted angrily. You shouldn't smoke in front of a child. Patrick smiled, putting his hand on Tom's shoulder. Ugh. Paul whined. Tom and Patrick giggled at how distraught Paul looked. I'll leave you to it then. Tord nodded and left them alone with Tom. Bye, Mr. Tord, Tom yelled. Unfortunately for him, Tord was already too far away for him to hear. Mr. Tord? Paul asked. Both and Patrick knew Tord's real name. They were just never allowed to say it in front of him. But somehow calling him Mr. Tord was definitely new. Definitely new. Mm-hmm. Tom grinned. So, Tom, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Patrick gave Tom a warm smile. He He was good with kids. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm having indigestion right now, so it's like, You know, I like you a lot more than that mean old medic, Tom giggled. That wimp. Can't say I blame you for not liking him. Paul chuckled. Paul! Patrick sighed. What? It's true. Hello. Paul argued, giving Tom a small high five. Chapter 13. Recon. Hello, Heidi. Ed was trying his best to stay quiet. They were currently hiding behind some bushes next to the presumably empty warehouse. Yes. Or you can say he's Daddy. Hey! Kill me. Oh, God. I'm gonna get so many hate comments. Don't kill me. Actually, yeah, kill me, please. Single tear. They were currently hiding behind a bush next to one of the presumably empty warehouses. Hey, Ed, not to be rude or anything, but is this the 6th warehouse we've looked at? Shouldn't we just wait until it gets dark? Wasn't that our original plan? Hi! Matt asked. Oh, and by the way, guys, y'all can just call me LG. Or Beth. Beth or LG, whichever works for y'all. Mom, Dad. Hello, Kitty. Or Tiffany? Period, question mark. Alright. I'm actually impressed. You remember what the original plan was. Anyways, we're still going to sneak in once it gets dark. But I just want to make sure we know what we're in for. Ed explained. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, do you think these will help? Matt held up a pair of binoculars for Ed to see. Matt, how long have you had those? I have no idea. I was just looking for my mirror, but this was in my pocket, so yeah. That's how you spell it. It's legit an L and a G. Wait, unless you were talking to someone else, I'm not sure. Kill me. Why did I even ask? Just hand them over, please. Ed sighed. Matt handed Ed the binoculars, almost dropping them in the process. Well, do they work? Matt asked. Yeah, surprisingly well. Ed cheered. He could see the front entrance of the warehouse. It looked exactly like all the other warehouse, but the only different thing Ed noticed was there was seeming to be some type of panel sticking out on the wall. Oh. Thank you. Mom, Dad. Okay, I'm sorry. I know. I'm retarded. Kill me. Matt sat behind Ed, unable to take his eyes off of Ed's messy mess of a hairstyle. Matt was a perfectionist when it came to looks, and Ed's hair was bothering him. I love tomtord, actually. Ed was pretty confused on what he was doing. Wait. Oh. Matt supposed that just maybe he could reach over and fix it real quick. Matt, I think I see someone, Ed whispered excitedly. Matt quickly retracted his hand, worried that Ed would catch him. Oh, really? What did I look like? Matt asked nervously. Ed tried adjusting the binoculars so he could see clearer. A man with a black jacket walked out of the building. He opens the panel, revealing a keypad. Ed couldn't see exactly what the man typed, But whatever it was, it locked the doors. Or at least, that's only what Ed could assume, judging on the loud screeching noises he heard coming from the doors. Ow! Okay, I've said it once. I'll say it again. We need to fix these. Oh, wait. Ow. I've said it again. I've said it once and I'll say it once and I'll say it again. We need to fix these stupid doors, the man shouted with a Norwegian accent. Wait. Tord? Ed whispered to himself. Ed tried to fix a good look at his face, but the man just wouldn't look his way. However, if it really was Tord, then maybe him not looking his way was a good thing. The man walked, heading into the town. Ed was about to tell Matt what he saw, but Matt was startled by Matt suddenly gripping onto his hair. Sorry, Ed, but I simply refuse to let you walk around like this any longer. Yay, we need to make a tomtord group. Yay. Okay, sorry. Matt declared. He didn't have the brush with him, so instead he decided to pick the knots out with his hands, being extra careful so that he wouldn't accidentally hurt Ed. Matt, this is not the time, Ed whined. Ed, there's always time to make sure you look good, Matt exclaimed. I look fine, but you could look better. Ow, Ed shouted. Apparently Matt got his hand stuck on a knot. Sorry, Matt chuckled. Ed eventually just gave up and let Matt do whatever he wanted. The sooner he was done, the sooner they could get back to search for Tom. Are you almost done? Ed sighed. Are you almost done? Ed sighed. Almost. Ah, there we go. Matt grinned. Matt searched his pockets for his mirror, but had no such luck. Hey, what is that in your hood? Ed pointed to something that was shining slightly in Matt's hood. He reached behind him and pulled out my mirror. Oh, and pulled it out. My mirror! I knew I brought it with me, Matt laughed, hugging the light purple hand mirror close to his chest. Why was it in your hoodie? Actually, never mind. Don't answer that. Ed shrugged. Here, Matt gave Ed the mirror. I'm sorry, I'm just dying inside right now because I'm like looking at the comments and it's just distracting me. Y'all keep talking, it's fine. But I like to reply to people because, yes, I am just that kind of YouTuber. Matt gave the mirror to Ed, his hand shaking. He was excited to see what Ed thought. Ed held up the mirror in front of him. His hair was actually perfect, styled exactly how Ed likes it. Mostly neat, but not without a few messy parts here and there. Wow, good job, Matt. How did you do that without a brush? Ed asked, genuinely impressed. Ed, when you're this beautiful, you need to learn how to improvise, Matt posed, causing Ed to start giggling uncontrollably. I am so glad Todd already left. Otherwise, I'm positive he would have gotten us by now. Ed laughed. Wait, you saw Tad? Matt asked. I fucking love this guy. Oh, thank you. Hi. Yeah, I guess I have one of those voices. I was legit. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Let me just continue reading this. Oh, right. I almost forgot to tell you. I'm pretty sorry I just saw Todd walking out of the warehouse. Which means it's probably the one we're looking for, Ed replied. Cool, did you see anyone else? No, but that doesn't mean we're completely in the clear. There could be other people in the warehouse. True, Matt nodded. Ed took out the binoculars one more time and looked around the warehouse, noticing a broken window. Bruh. Okay, I'm sorry. A broken window, bruh. The broken window, bruh. Bruh. The Call of the Wild, bruh. Bruh. Okay, I'm sorry. That's something me and my friend made up. Oh, I miss Bailey. Bruh. Rip Bailey. Well, she's not dead, but yeah. Alright. There's a broken window. If we bring a ladder or something like that, we might be able to sneak in through that. Ed shrugged. Sounds like a plan. But are there any broken shards of glass still on it? We don't want to end up getting cut. Matt sighed. Dang it. Yes. Well, I guess we'll have to be really careful. I don't see any other way in, Ed replied. Just to be certain, Ed took one last look at the warehouse through the binoculars. He had to admit it. It was much nicer to look through the binoculars without having to worry about his hair in his face. At least we know which warehouse it is. Oh, at least we know which warehouse it is. Matt smiled. Hey, Matt? Yes, Ed? Thanks for fixing my hair for me. I know I was kind of rude and snapped at you for trying to fix it at first, but I want you to know that I didn't mean it. I've just been stressed out since Tom. Ed sighed. What? It's fine, Ed. I told you I get it. I may not remember who Tam is, but so far I can tell you're good friends. It only makes sense for you to be worried about him. Matt. I'm sorry, Matt grinned. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm dying right now. I know, but I still feel bad for getting mad at you. I feel like Tord is right behind them. I don't know why, but I just feel like that. Wait, what? Period, question mark. Why is Tiffany spamming love you? What is my okay. I'm dying. I just hope we can get to Tom before Tord does anything horrible to him. Ed slumped. We will, Ed. We know where he's keeping him. And we know... Wait. Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different story. I was about to say, it worked before... Wait, it didn't work before, so... Sorry, I thought I heard my mom. Alright. Yeah, boy! Okay. Yeah, boy! Okay. Bruh. I'm questioning what's going on in this chat. Okay. Back to what we were doing. Sure, it may not be perfect, but there's a chance we could get stabbed by a bunch of glass. And there's a chance that we might get stabbed by a bunch of glass, but it's better than nothing. Matt shrugged. You've got a point there. And for the glass, I'm sure we'll be fine. Ed chuckles, as long as it doesn't harm my face. As long as it doesn't harm my face, then I'll be good to go, Matt exclaimed. What is this? The introvert and the investor. Tad, Tim, and Tam. Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh crap. What is going on with my phone case? Alright. Oh, this is gonna be cute. Wait, what? Oh, hello. Alright. What chapter are we on? This is like chapter 14. Chapter 14. Stars. Lol. I thought his mother was a bowling ball, though. Period, question mark. I'm questioning everything. Alright. Oh my god, I twitched. Alright. Chapter 14. Stars. It had gotten dark. Barely any light illuminating the inside of the red base. Tord was still out. Supposedly he was gathering supplies, but the more likely assumptions was that assumption was that he had decided to take a late walk. Most of the Red Army was asleep by now. However, Paul and Patrick didn't want Tom to accidentally wake up anyone while they were in the barracks, so they decided to take a stroll around the Red base with him to tire him out. So far, it wasn't working. Aren't you tired, Tom? Paul groaned. Nope, Tom grinned, skipping alongside Paul and Patrick. Well, how can you be so energized? Patrick chuckled. I don't know. I got lots of sleep last night, that's probably why. Tom shrugged. Where did you sleep anyways? We don't exactly have guest rooms, Paul asked. Mr. Tord let me sleep in his bed while he slept in his stupid chair, Tom explained. Paul and Patrick were shocked. Their leader would never do something like that. What do you mean by he let you sleep in his bed? Patrick asked. He wanted me to sleep in his chair, but I fell asleep in his bed instead. I argued with him until he gave up. Tom smiled. Their leader lost an argument? Wow. Oh my God. I've been talking all day, so my vocal cords are hurting. Okay. Don't know why I just did that. Wow. That was even more surprising. Dang, Paul replied. What's wrong? Tom asked. Oh, it's nothing, Tom, Patrick assured. Just out of curiosity, what do you think of the Red Leader so far? Paul asked. A Red Leader? Oh, you mean Mr. Tord? I like him. He's really nice. Tom giggled. Paul wanted to laugh as well, but Patrick sent him a look that stopped him from doing so. Well, I'm glad you're comfortable, at least. And I'm sure as time passes, you'll warm up to the medic as well. Patrick sighed. Ew, no, Tom replied. I like this kid. It's funny. Paul laughed. That medic was rude. He hurt me, Tom complained. Tom, he didn't have a choice. There was no other way he could have helped you, Patrick explained. No, it's not that. He promised me a lollipop and didn't give me one, Tom whined. How cruel, Paul gasped. He was joking, of course, but Patrick clearly wasn't laughing. Paul, you're not helping, Patrick growled. Paul simply shrugged in response. Okay, I'm sorry. Still, I'm glad Mr. Tord brought me to you two. I like you guys, Tom chuckled. Really? Paul was thrown off guard a little. Yeah, Patrick, you're nice, and Paul, you're funny. Tom nodded. Huh? Thanks, kid. Paul smiled. He actually kind of liked Tom, even if the Red Leader openly despised him. He was a good kid, judging by the smile on Patrick's face. Oh, darn. I hate it when it does that. Because my connection sucks ass. Alright. He had similar feelings. Thank you, Tom, Patrick smiled. You're welcome. Hey, when do you think Mr. Tord will be back? Tom frowned. I'm sure he'll be back soon. He's just a very busy person. He's just a very busy person. Person! I'm sorry. Patrick explained. Oh, okay. Tom sighed. No offense or anything, kid, but why are you so attached to the Red Leader? Paul asked. Well, I guess I lost my memory or something. I'm not too sure. I sort of blacked out, I guess. But after I did, the first person who found me was Mr. Tord. He seemed like he knew me, and he was so nice to me. He said I could stay here and that he'd protect me. He's awesome. Why wouldn't I be attached to him? Tom grinned. Paul and Patrick exchanged a worried look. Oh, Lord. Tord was their leader, and they'd follow him until the very end. But they couldn't help but feel bad for Tom. He was Tord's most hated enemy, and he didn't even know it. Tom shot down their leader's robot and eventually put Tord through 1,000 of unbearable surgeries. It was only natural for Tord to want revenge, and yet here they were, feeling horrible for their supposed enemy. After a long moment of silence, Patrick finally let out a shaky breath. "That's nice, Tom," Patrick mumbled. "So, you, feeling tired yet?" Paul asked. "You wish," Tom laughed. They eventually got to the second floor of the red base. Well, it was more like a walkway. That Tord referred to as the second floor. To save money, Tord managed to set up their base in an abandoned warehouse outside of town. It was big and close to civilization, so that they could gather supplies when needed. Of course, it wasn't a perfect situation. The right side of the warehouse had a broken window, and because of the heat, they had to leave all of the windows on the left side open at night. I know, right? Let me make sure. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. Wait, what? Period, question mark. To let some air through. Patrick and Paul decided to use that to their advantage. "Hey, Tom, you want to see something cool?" Patrick asked. "Sure," Tom replied. Patrick led them both over to the left side of the window. To the left side of the walkway. The part that was closed to the open window. The part was so close to the open window. A person could fall if they weren't careful enough. This made Tom a little worried. "Don't worry. As long as you watch your step, you'll be fine." Patrick chuckled. They got to where Patrick was leading them and sat down, dangling their feet over the walkway. So, what is it?" Tom asked. Paul poked his shoulder to get his attention and then pointed to the front of them. Tom's jaw dropped at the sight in front of them. From where they were, they could see the entire night sky lit up with millions of stars, and the only visible thing being where the sky met the trees that border the woods. What? Adding the true beauty of the scene laid out before them. "Isn't it nice?" Patrick asked. "Wow." Tom was dumbfounded. "Most of the people here fall asleep at this hour, so Paul and I are the only ones awake who have ever seen this," Patrick explained. "Really? No one else? Not even Mr. Tord?" Tom asked. "Not even Mr. Tord." Paul grinned. "Paul, we're not supposed to use the T word." "Tits!" Patrick whispered. "Calm down, Pat. He isn't here." Paul rolled his eyes. "Still." Patrick crossed his arms. How did you two find this?" Tom asked, curiosity getting the better of him. "I'm the one in charge of making sure this window stays open at night." At night. Pat here decided to stay up one night and help me out. He was the one who noticed this." Paul shrugged. Seriously though, how is it that you had to watch this window for several months, and you never noticed anything out the window? And you never noticed anything out the window? Patrick laughed. "Rude. Sorry for being responsible." "If by responsible, you mean that the window you volunteered to watch... the whole reason you volunteered to watch the window was so that you can smoke without having to leave the building, then yes. You should be sorry for being responsible," Patrick replied. Tom giggled, still focused on the stars in front of him. "Hey, what are you laughing at?" Paul chuckled, ruffling Tom's hair. "Nothing," Tom smiled. "I know, right?" "I'm gonna get comfortable." They sat there in a comfortable silence for a while, Tom letting out a small occasional yawn. Paul zoned out for a bit, suddenly realizing the lack of sound. He turned his head and smiled at what he saw. Tom had fallen asleep in Patrick's lap. As for Patrick, he somehow fell asleep, sitting up. Paul felt tired himself and let himself drift off. Night, Pat. Night, kid. Paul mumbled as his eyes fluttered shut. How precious was that chapter? Oh my God. I loved it. Oh, what is this I see? What is love? Okay, I'm sorry. I might read more actually, but that means I'll also have to, sorry. I'll also have to change how many chapters I read. Alright, chapter 15. Slight misunderstanding. Ed sighed, watching as Matt carefully positioned the ladder so that it lined up perfectly with the window. Matt, remind me again, why do you have a ladder? Ed asked. I found it while I was out buying a picture frame for my new addition to my gallery. Gallery. It was just sitting there next to a construction site. Matt grinned. You stole it from a construction site? I'm not even surprised at this point. And let me guess, by newest edition, you mean another self-portrait? Yeah, wow, you're good. Matt laughed. Let's just get this over with, Ed groaned. Matt nodded, climbing up the ladder, eventually getting to their planned entry point. He boosted himself over an especially sharp piece of glass that was sticking out from the bottom of the window. Oh dear. Ed climbed. Hello. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt. Copyright. Ow, I pulled my hair. Mom, I hurt myself. Not that that's anything new. Get it? Kill me. Okay, I'm sorry. Ed climbed up after him, barely making it through without a scratch. They took this moment to get a feel for their surroundings. They seemed to be on some sort of walkway that was at least a story off the ground. From where they stood, Matt could clearly see another open window directly across from them. Three, hopefully sleeping silhouettes sat in front of it. Huh? Matt mumbled to himself. He didn't want to point out the obvious, but they could have gone through the other window, saving them from having to dodge all that shattered glass. They narrowly avoided. What? We need to be careful. We have no idea what Tom is. Not to mention the fact we have no idea if anyone is awake or not. Ed trailed off, listing millions of possible places Tom could be. Hey Ed, does Tim have really spiky hair? Matt asked, his eyes still focused on the silhouettes across from them. What? Oh yes, he does. Anyways, like I was saying, Ed went back to rambling. Is he really short? Well, he was short to begin with, but yeah, I guess he's even shorter now. Why? Ed was obviously confused. Matt pointed to the silhouette he was focused on, and one of them stood out like a sore thumb. I don't know. I have chills too. Oh. Should I start reading scary stories on here too? Because I don't know, because I can make a really deep voice. Like, listen to this. One of them stood out like a sore thumb. It seemed to be laying down. It was short, and a little bit of spiky hair was visible. That was actually really creepy. I don't know why. I scare myself sometimes. Do you think that's him? Definitely. Ed silently cheered. They snuck over towards the side of the walkway. The three silhouettes could now be seen as two random guys, and Tom sitting between them. Fortunately, they were all asleep. Ed motioned towards Tom, getting the silent message to Matt, who clearly didn't get it. Oh, darn. Ed sighed and pointed to Tom and then back to Matt. Oh, Matt chuckled. He walked over to Tom, picking him up, being extremely careful so that he wouldn't wake up Tom, or worse, the two men sitting next to him. Once Matt was sure Tom was secure, he broke out into a sprint towards the other window. Ed quickly followed behind him. Matt and Ed froze. Tom had woken up. Matt, unsure of what to do, put a finger over Tom's mouth. Ed motioned towards the two sleeping men in the open window. Tom saw this and nodded, understanding that whoever these two guys were, they were nice enough to let Paul and Patrick sleep. Don't want to wake them up, Matt chuckled, confirming Tom's previous thoughts. Can you put me down? Tom asked. Sorry. Matt set Tom down, not wanting to upset him. How are you two? Oh, you must be Mr. Tord's friends, like Paul and Patrick. I bet he sent you. Tom smiled. Ed and Matt shared a confused look. Mr. Tord? Not really. Ed shrugged. Huh? Then who are you? Tom was confused and a little afraid. Don't worry, Tim. Don't worry, Tim, Matt began. It's Tom. It's Tom. Right. Anyways, we're not here to hurt you. In fact, we're here to save you, Matt grinned. Save me? Okay, if Tom wasn't confused before, he definitely was now. Well, yeah, I can't even imagine the horrible things he's put you through. Things you've been through, Matt sighed. Tom, this is Matt, and my name is Ed. We want to help you, Ed explained. Wait, Ed? Matt? Tom gasped. He couldn't fight the wide smile that appeared on his face. You know us? Ed was thrilled to hear that Tom remembered him. What? No! Sort of. I know what Mr. Tord told me. You two want to take me away from him. Tom growled. Ed's face completely dropped, hearing the harsh tone in Tom's voice. Why do you sound so angry? Matt asked. Duh, I don't want to leave Mr. Tord. He's nice, and if you two want to take me away from him, then clearly you're just mean, Tom whined. What? Tom, Tord isn't nice. He's evil. Ed fought back tears. No, he's nice. Sure, he can be scary sometimes, but he cares about me. So when he says someone's mean, then I believe him. Tom was standing his ground. Tom, please, you have to come back with us. Ed was losing it. Tears began cascading down his face. No, I won't do it. I don't want to leave. I want to stay with Mr. Tord. Tom was officially throwing a temper tantrum. Ted, come on, you're overreacting. Matt, oh God. I know, just... Ted, come on, you're overreacting. Matt tried to reach for Tom's hand, but Tom slapped him. My name is Tom, and I said no. I'm not leaving Mr. Tord, Paul, or Patrick. I'm staying here where almost everything is kind, Tom shouted. Matt panicked a little when he saw the two men earlier shift slightly. Tom had woken them up. Careful, you're going to wake them up, Matt whispered. Good, Tom shouted. Matt, what do we do? Ed had fallen to his knees, sobbing into his sleeves. Matt's brain felt like it was about to explode. Tam, if we leave, will you please be quiet? Matt begged. Tom pouted. Okay, just know that if you ever feel like you're in danger, try to get in contact with us. Matt sighed. I doubt I will, but fine, if it'll get you to leave. Tom snarled. Ed, there's nothing we can do for now. Let's just go. We can come up with a plan B later. Oh, the baby. Okay. Matt went over to Ed and helped him up. Ed nodded and followed Matt back to the window. Ow! Matt unfortunately cut his hand on a little piece of glass on the way out. Heh. Tom chuckled, sticking his tongue out at Matt. Well, that could have gone better. Matt chuckled once they had gotten to the bottom of the ladder. Got to 10. Got to 10. Got to 10. I'm sorry. Got to 10. I'm sorry, I love typos like that. Matt, Tom's barely himself anymore, Ed cried. The look on Ed's face just completely broke Matt's heart. He hated to see Ed so distraught. Once again, his instincts took over and he ran to hug Ed, who accepted it immediately. It was then Matt took a deep breath and kissed the top of Ed's forehead, causing the shorter man to look up at him in confusion. Let's just head back home for now. Come up with a plan B. Matt cleared his throat. Quickly releasing Ed, a small blush on his face. I know, right? Ed, okay, let's do that. Ed laughed, wiping away some of his tears with his sleeves. Correction, Matt's sleeves. But it still had the same comforting effect, nonetheless. Hold on, what is this? Is this? No. Copyright. No. Feet. Oh, look how cute. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm dying right now because it's so fucking precious. Chapter 17 this is? Yeah, 17. Chapter 17. Every problem has a solution. Paul and Patrick were panicking. Tom was nowhere to be found when they woke up that morning. However, what worried them more, the mysterious specks of blood that dotted the glass shards barely hanging onto the shattered window across from them. You don't think... Patrick trailed off. Paul knew what Patrick meant, but that only caused him to panic even more. Don't think what? Oh! Don't think what? Don't think what? A voice asked. Paul and Patrick turned around to see Tom popping his head out from a supply crate that was shoved into a corner. Tom! What in the world are you doing in there? Patrick shouted. Got Tom shrugged. Paul chuckled, walking over to Tom and lifting him from the crate. So you decided to explore? Paul grinned. Mm-hmm. By the way, what are these? Oh. Tom asked, holding up 2 flash grenades. Patrick quickly hurried to Tom and frantically snatched them both from him. These are dangerous, Tom, Patrick scolded. Well, if they're so dangerous, then why does Mr. Tord have an entire box full of them out in the open where anyone can see them? Tom frowned. Patrick opened his mouth to say something, but was interrupted by Paul's loud laughter. Hey, this kid does have a point, Paul laughed. I swear, if I left you two alone together for more than a second, the entire base would blow up, Patrick complained. Careful, Pat. You might end up jinxing us, Paul replied. Paul? Patrick? Are you up there? Oh, wait, no. Paul? Patrick? Are you up there? Someone called from the first floor. Oh, great, it's him. Paul and Tom groaned in unison. Both of them realized after their synchronization... Wait. I don't know. How do you English? We are... Just 1 second. Patrick yelled back, climbing down the ladder that led to the first floor. Paul and Tom hesitantly Paul and Tom hesitantly followed after him. "Ah, there you are." The medic smiled upon seeing Paul and Patrick. "Oh, so it was the medic, not Tord." Okay. However, his smile was soon replaced with a look of fear upon seeing Tom trailing behind him. "What is it now?" Paul sighed. "It's just Red Leader. He wants to see you in his office." The medic stuttered, pure terror making its way through every inch of his brain. "What for? I mean, I'm not questioning the Red Leader or anything, but what? Did he at least tell you why?" "Oh, sorry." The medic lowered... Oh, Patrick asked. The medic lowered his voice slightly so that Tom wasn't able to hear him. "It's about Tom. We think we might have found a possible cure for a situation, but he refuses to hear a word of it until you both are in there to hear it as well." The medic whispered. "What? Why?" Paul was confused as confused as Patrick. The medic shrugged and began to walk away, trying to get away from Tom as fast as possible. "Let's get going then. Orders are orders," Patrick sighed. Both Paul and Patrick quickly ran towards their leader's office, completely forgetting that Tom was still following close behind them. That is until they met up with Tord, who was patiently waiting outside the door. You brought Tom?" Tord asked. Paul and Patrick turned around. Tom quietly stood there, smiling, waving to the two men, realizing they had forgotten he was even there. "Ugh," Paul groaned. "Hi, Mr. Tord," Tom shouted excitedly. "Hello, Tom." "Hello, Tom." Tord nodded. "Red Leader, sir, we came as soon as possible," Patrick saluted. "I can see that. Look, I have no idea what the cure is for... what the cure is for, you know what? But I figured... Oh, you know what? I know. But I figured... Where was I? But I figured that I wanted you to hear what it is in case it's anything you can help with," Tord explained. "Makes sense, sir," Paul replied. "Agreed," Patrick added. "I feel like you're the only one watching this, Heidi." Am I saying it right? I'm not sure. Good. Glad we're all on the same page. Now come on, they're waiting for us in there. Tord motioned towards his office, holding it open for Paul and Patrick, both of them quietly thanking him. "Oh, yay! Hi, Rockruff." Tord was about to follow them in, but a small voice interrupted him. "Mr. Tord, what about me? Where am I supposed to go?" Tom frowned. "Oh, right," Tord began. "Please don't make me stay with magic or anything like that," Tom begged. Tord chuckled. His eyes suddenly focused on a chair sitting across from his office door. "Tom, sit over there and wait for me, okay?" Tord pointed to the chair. "What? I can't come in with you?" Tom asked, sounding pitiful. "No, Tom, you can't," Tord sighed. "What? Why not?" Tom was beginning to get angry. This is an important meeting for me, Tom. Adults only." "I promise I'll be quiet." "Tom, it's not a matter of being quiet. Please, just wait out here. I'll be out in a moment." "No!" Tom shouted. "Thomas, I said no, and that's final," Tord screamed in Tom's face. "You done messed up, boy." Tom backed up slightly, tears streaming down his face. Dang it. This is exactly what Tord didn't want to happen. "Please, Mr. Tord. Please don't leave me all alone out here. I don't want to be alone." Tom sniffled. "The baby is crying." Okay. Tom began violently shaking. It seemed he was struggling to stay on his feet, and there was just so many tears. Tord didn't know what to do. He was used to people crying. What else would someone do while watching an entire army kill their friends and family? Oh, God. However, this was different. This was Tom. Someone Tord never thought he'd see cry. Tord assumed that the first time he'd witnessed Tom cry, it'd be because of the endless torture Tord would put him through. He also assumed that seeing Tom cry would make him feel overjoyed. He was so wrong. So very wrong. Seeing Tom cry actually made Tord's heart ache for some odd reason. Okay. Oh my god. Ah, fuck me. I'm sorry. I kind of just broke a fucking yeah, that thing. I need a sip of this delicious blue Powerade real quick. Want to hear something funny? I'm wearing a red sweater and drinking blue Powerade. Like a red turtleneck, something that Paul would wear. Alright, back to what I was saying. Just seeing someone who was normally so confident and resilient break like that, Tord nearly wanted to cry himself. Rather than cry, Tord managed to clear his head. This was Tom, and he had to make sure he stayed happy. Otherwise, Tom would try running away, and everything Tord had worked so hard for would be ruined. He'd never get to watch Tom suffer. Listen, Tom, I'm sorry, but this is really important to me. If you wait out here and be good, then I promise that once we're done, you and I can go out for some ice cream or something. Is that alright with you? Tord faked a smile. Sorry. A small grin on his... Tom looked up at Tord, a small grin on his face. Right after that, you're done, right? Yes, right after I'm done. Okay, thank you, Mr. Tord. Tom grinned. He ran to hug Tord, but quickly stopped after remembering what Tord had said about hugs the other day. Tord noticed Tom looking sad again and sighed. He got on one knee so he was eye level with Tom and held his arms out just once. Tord rolled his eyes. Tom practically squealed, running into Tord's arms. Ah, so cute. Okay. Hugging him. Tord chuckled. Tom apparently hadn't lost any of his strength. Which was evident in the way Tom was seemingly trying to crush Tord. You're the best, Mr. Tord, Tom giggled, releasing Tord from his death grip. For real, man. Thank you, Tom. Now, if you will excuse me, I have a meeting to attend to. Just wait in that chair and be good until I'm done, okay? Tord sighed, his hand on the doorknob of his office. Okay, bye, Mr. Tord. Tom waved. So precious. Tord nodded and... Thank you for subbing. Tord nodded and walked into his office. Everyone inside gave him a strange look, including Paul and Patrick. What? Tord asked. Sir, we could hear through the door. Also, glass on the door is one-way glass. We saw the whole thing, Patrick replied. Oh. Tord replied. An awkward silence filled the room for one moment. No offense or anything, sir, but did you just hug your worst enemy and promise him ice cream? Paul chuckled. If you must know, yes, I did. And Paul, you're lucky we were friends before this army. Otherwise, I would have definitely had you executed by now. Tord grinned maniacally. Okay, good. Point taken, Paul mumbled. Alright. So we started right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be... So I'm planning to read to like chapter 20, which means like chapter 20 is probably fortification. So chapter 17, I think we're on. Let me count. Hold on. I think I'm counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What the fuck? sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're on 16. Okay. Tord walked over to his office chair and took a seat. Paul standing to the right of him, and Patrick on to the left. One of the Red Army soldiers stood in front of him, the medic standing behind her. Tord wasn't the best with remembering names. He barely remembered any of his soldiers' names, much less the new ones. So the only soldiers that he ever went by their names were Paul and Patrick. The others only preferred to go by their actual titles. The medic secretly hated it, but he was too timid, and refused to shut the fuck up. And refused to say anything in fear of getting executed. The soldier that stood in front of them was known as the researcher. She was an expert in retrieving information about the enemy. She was also very knowledgeable when it came to science and mathematics, which was exactly why Tord had put her in charge of the small group of soldiers to find a cure for Tom. Red Leader, it is a pleasure to speak face to face with you, sir. The researcher saluted. Likewise. I will say that you're at least slightly more tolerable than some of your colleagues. Tord sighed, glaring at the medic. Anyways, sir, as you know, we have been working diligently on finding a cure for Tom, and we think we finally found one. The researcher began. Well, out with it then. I want to get this over with. Sir, there's just one tiny thing you have to know. What is it? The cure isn't something we can make using chemicals or medicine. So, applying the cure will be very difficult. Please don't tell me this is some Princess and the Frog type of crap. I'm sorry. No, sir. However, you are on the right track. We managed to piece it together, a very solid theory of what made Tom revert back to into a child. We were able to figure out that it was magical in origin. Magical? Yes, sir. We believe he was hit with some kind of potion, perhaps some type of time reversal potion. Wait. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Tord mentally slapped himself. He thought back to the day when he found Tom in the alleyway. He had been walking when he was interrupted by Ed and Matt running out of a shop, the magic shop. It actually made a lot more sense. Tord really thought about it. Tom did say the last thing he remembered was standing in a puddle with a bunch of people staring at him. Wait, and that must have been where the glass in his head came from. Wow, he got hit in the head with that? Sir, is something wrong? The researcher asked. I'm fine. Sorry. Continue. Tord sighed. He's sighing all over the place like, I'm sorry. Yeah. I just killed myself. That wasn't a sneeze, by the way. There's hair in the back of my throat, and I'm dying. Well, right. Well, magic is obviously a little out of my comfort zone, but solely based on past reports of magic gone wrong, I believe it has to do with his memories. Oh no. The researcher motioned for the medic to walk forward. He was holding an illustration of Tom, one of him as an adult and one of him as a child. Memories? Patrick spoke up. Yes, of course. Wait, hold on. I don't know who's talking right now, so I'm just gonna oh, yes, of course. We already know that the potion was able to change his physical form, and judging by his actions, it had changed his mental state as well. However, we do not know how much his mental state has deteriorated. Sorry. That was very rude. Ah. The researcher was making hand motions towards the illustration as if it would get her point across better. Okay, but what do memories have to do with the cure? Paul asked, rather than scold him. Tord stayed silent. At the same question was on his mind. The potion doesn't seem inherently harmful. Its only purpose seemed to be turning back the clock. I doubt something like that would be created with the ability to erase entire memories. It's more than likely stores them anyway deep within the mind. What's the point of that? Patrick asked. Tord was starting to become irritated with them for not letting him speak, but he managed to keep his anger in check just long enough to listen to the researcher. The point is supposed to recreate time reversal. A young body is truly young with an old mind. Think about it. Think about it like this. If you suddenly became a child, you'd freak out a little, right? In fact, you'd even end up hurting yourself since your younger body isn't as strong as your older body. However, if you don't remember ever being adult, then there's no reason to freak out, the researcher replied. Exactly, the medic chimed in, wanting to be a part of the conversation. He only received several glares in his direction. Anyways, all memories are associated with emotion. So if we can figure out the main emotion associated with the memories he lost, anger, cough, anger, cough, they would have our cure. Then we have our cure. What? Tord was completely lost. The potion has a fail-safe. If memories start to resurface, the potion starts to reverse itself. Since we cannot recreate full memories, I believe that the emotion associated with those memories will work just fine, the researcher concluded. It's a decent theory. And we don't really have any other options. All right. Good work. Tord nodded. Thank you, sir. The researcher saluted. However, there is still work to be done. I will have to talk to Tom tomorrow. That way you can maybe figure out which emotion we need to recreate. Anger. As for you, medic, just report back to your station. Wait, hold on. I'm pretty sure that was Tord talking. It was. Whatever, I'm not gonna re-say it. Re-say it. Just to report back to your station. Paul and Patrick, I need you to work the armory today, Tord announced. No offense, sir, but wouldn't it be better to let the researcher interview Tom now? Patrick asked. It would. However, it wouldn't be. It just isn't possible right now. He has other plans today, Tord explained. Paul had to bite his tongue to keep from laughing. Tord, their leader, was taking his worst enemy out for ice cream. Tord left his office with and was pleased to find that Tom was quietly sitting. One of his soldiers must have brought him something to eat, judging by the plate of food sitting on his lap. Tom apparently didn't notice Tord. He was too busy poking at the shook. Okay, I'm sorry. Pineapple that was sitting next to an assortment of other fruits. Dad? Oh God, my heart! Tom whispered under his breath, staring at the pineapple. Oh God. Tom. Tord was admittedly a little disturbed at the scene unfolding in front of him. Mr. Tord! Tom squealed, dropping the plate of fruit. Tom looked down at the mess, a guilty look on his face. Oh, God. Don't worry, Tom. I'm sure someone will clean it up. Tord sighed. Sorry, Mr. Tord. Wait, can we go get ice cream now? Tom grinned. Sure, Tom. Tord smiled. Yay! Tom cheered, skipping down the hallway with Tord. Tord was skipping too. Hold on, what? Alright, so we have like, I don't know. So fortification is the, wait, hold on. So if that was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh. Astrophobia. I can say that. Astrophobia? I used to be able to say it when I was younger. But now it's like, it's totally killing my head trying to remember how to say it. Okay. Matt decided to sleep on Ed's couch. Oh, hold on. Chapter 17, bonding, but with bacon. This is the chapter I was looking at earlier. I was like, bruh. Bonding, but with bacon. Matt decided to sleep on Ed's couch that night. Ed was just so depressed, and Matt would never forgive himself if something happened to him while he wasn't there. However, Matt had actually forgot that he had decided to stay the night at Ed's apartment, leading to quite a bit of confusion the next morning. Whose couch is this? Whose couch is this? Oh, wait a minute. It smells like cola. Okay, so I'm at Ed's place. Uh-huh. Why did I stay the night again? Matt mumbled to himself. His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of heavy footsteps heading in his direction. He looked up to see Ed trudging past him to the kitchen. Ed seemed even worse than yesterday and looked incredibly tired. Did he even get any sleep last night? Despite Ed's appearance, Matt couldn't help but smile a little. Rather than change into his normal sleepwear, Ed wore Matt's hoodie to bed. Aww. And a small fact that sent a strange feeling through Matt's heart that he just couldn't explain. Matt, are you all right? Are you all right, mate? I'm sorry. Are you all right? Ed asked, leaning on the counter. Oh yes, I'm all right. Matt chuckled. Are you sure? You've been staring at me for at least 20 minutes. Is that so? Well, I'm good. Just fine. Whatever you say. I think I'm going to make some bacon. Do you want some? Bacon? Bacon? I'm dying. Sure. But are you in any shape to cook? What do you mean? Ed asked. Matt got up from the couch and walked over to Ed, who looked much worse close up. Ed, how much sleep did you get last night? Matt sighed. Enough. Ed replied. Really? How much do you think is enough? Matt crossed his arms. 30 minutes. Sorry, I'm dying. 30 minutes. Ed nearly whispered. Okay, nope, I'm not letting... Okay, nope, I'm not letting you cook. Matt grabbed Ed's sleeve and dragged him towards the couch, throwing him down and throwing a blanket over him. Matt, I'm fine, Ed complained. No, Ed, you're not. Just sit here and relax, okay? I'll make us some bacon. Matt replied, walking back to the kitchen. Matt, can you even cook? Ed shouted from the living room. Of course I can cook, Matt shouted back. Honestly, Matt could cook most of the time. Matt was strange when it came to certain skills. He was only able to do certain things under certain circumstances. He could do practically anything if it had something to do with wanting to help Ed through a rough time. As Matt began cooking, he let some of his thoughts take him to yet another daydream. It was odd. Ed was always trying to get Matt to hang out with him. Now that they live in separate apartments. Well, not just him. Oh, now that they live in separate apartments. Well, now, not just him. There's also some third guy who Matt can't really remember the name of right now. Anyways, Matt Matt would normally turn down Ed's offer, but now he would give anything to hear Ed's cheerful voice ask him to hang out. Oh! I want to know how the ice cream trip went. Whatever. I'm like not even halfway done with it, so I'm kind of just going to go curl up in a hole and cry. As much as he loved being near Ed right now, the situation they were in was hardly ideal. Matt sighed and managed to focus his attention back on the bacon. He had apparently finished cooking. He put each slice onto one. Now I want bacon. I'm gonna make bacon in the morning. Dang it, Matt! You have to make me want bacon. Good thing I can make bacon, cause bacon is good. Cause I like bacon. Bacon, 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 bacon. Okay, I'm sorry. Baka, 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 baka. Okay. He put each slice on one big plate for him and Ed to share between the two of them. FedEx. He picked up the plate and walked over to the couch, sitting next to Ed. Ed stared in awe as Matt set a perfectly cooked plate of bacon on the coffee table in front of them. You didn't set the apartment on fire. Ed chuckled. Hey, I'm offended. Matt grinned. Ed reached over to grab a piece of bacon off the plate, smiling as he took a bite. Wow. I want to cook bacon now, but I can't because it's like 10:30. So, yeah, everyone's asleep. Kill me. I've been at this for what? An hour and a half. Let's do this for 2 hours. Y'all couldn't tell, but I just dabbed. Is it good? Matt asked. It's fantastic. Since when could you cook? Ed laughed. Matt was trying to remember when he had learned to cook, but was having no luck. He's like Dory from Finding Nemo. He's so cute. Ed saw the concentrated look on Matt's face and sighed. Matt, you don't actually have to answer. I know your memory's practically non-existent. Ed frowned. Sorry. Matt had a sad look on his face. Rather than getting upset, Ed saw this as a perfect opportunity. Hey, Matt. Yeah? Don't go baking my heart. Ah, my God. I couldn't even if I tried. Matt desperately tried to hold back his laughter, but ultimately failed, nearly falling off the couch. Nice. Ed chuckled. That was a good one, Matt admitted. Oh, thanks. But I think your response was even better, Ed laughed. Hi, welcome back. They sat there in silence for a while, occasionally reaching over to grab a slice of bacon. I want bacon right now. I am craving bacon and eel sushi. Oh my God, I want to go to hibachi. Okay. Matt looked to his left, down at Ed. He had a relaxed look on his face. He seemed blissful. What the f***? Okay, I'm sorry. I really need to take this popcorn out of here because, yeah, it's been in here for the past 2 weeks. I am a very disgusting person. Good thing I have a trash bag right in front of me, full of trash. Kill me. Alright. Matt couldn't be happier in that moment. He knew that... Why what? Oh, because they're eating bacon. Matt couldn't be happier in that moment. He knew that eventually they'd have to get up and actually come up with a plan for Tim. But right now, Matt just wanted to sit back and enjoy this rare moment. Nobody gets up. Okay. My phone vibrated. Ed was a kind, talented, and hilarious guy. And he didn't deserve any of these horrible emotions he has been subjected to lately. Matt knew that he'd have to help Ed find Tam at any cost. I'm sorry. Matt sighed. Ed looked up at Matt. What? He asked. Ed, I'm sorry you've had to go through all of this. You don't deserve it. Matt began voicing his thoughts. Why are you apologizing? It's not your fault Tom's gone. It is. I knocked over that stupid potion. Losing Tom has pretty much broken your heart. And it's my fault. Tears began filling Matt's eyes. I don't want to feel feelings anymore. Ed was in shock. Not only had Matt suddenly remembered Tom's name. Wait, really? Oh. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. He was blaming himself for everything. Stop it. Stop it right now, Matt. None of this is your fault, Ed shouted. Matt stopped and he couldn't help but stare at Ed, surprised by his random outburst. Ed jumped up and hugged Matt tightly as humanly possible. As tight as humanly possible. Ed. Matt was still crying, but he was trying to stop himself. Shush. I don't want to hear you say another bad thing about yourself, Ed sighed, not letting Matt go. Matt wrapped his arms around Ed, responding to the hug. They stayed like that for what felt like for an eternity. However, sorry, my phone is getting like really freaking hot right now. Yeah, weak charge. Okay. I'm gonna have to unplug my phone for a little while and let it cool off. Alright, they finally released each other. Thanks, Ed. Matt smiled. Don't mention it. Now, are we going to finish this plate of bacon or what? It's just sitting there. Bacon me crazy. Ed laughed. Matt grinned. And, oh my God. And they went back to their previous moment of silence and occasionally eating bacon. Or an occasional bacon eating. Matt suddenly felt a weight on his shoulder. He realized that Ed must have fallen asleep. Matt sighed and shifted himself slightly so Ed was using Matt's chest as a pillow. Matt held Ed close and bacon. At least someone's on the right page. Yum. Yeah. Matt held Ed close and drifted off to sleep, feeling nothing but happiness. Oh. Okay, guys, we got one more chapter after this chapter, then I'm stopping this. Yeah, because I've been at this for an hour and a half. Dabs. I'm dying, I'm sorry. I can't help it but die. That sounded really depressing. Sounds like me, actually. Kill me. Alright. Chapter 19, Oncoming Storm. Tord walked down the familiar sidewalk, holding Tom's hand, making sure he wouldn't run off. Mr. Tord, why are you wearing that hood again? Tom asked. Tord was wearing the same outfit he wore every time he went out. His black hoodie, with the hood up. I have to, Tom. There are people around here who don't exactly like me, Tord explained. What? Who wouldn't like you, Mr. Tord? Tom gasped. Tord chuckled at that. He was pretty sure no one liked him. Quite a few people. But that's a long story. And if I decide to tell you, we'd never get our ice cream now, would we? No, only bacon. Tord grinned. Tom squealed excitedly when the ice cream parlor came into view. Come on! Tom squealed, practically dragging Tord behind him. Tord found it odd that Tom had so much strength. Maybe the potion couldn't change everything. Or perhaps Tom was just a strong child to begin with. Tord wasn't completely sure, so he just made a mental note to tell the researcher about it before she interviewed Tom. They walked into the ice cream parlor to find that it was surprisingly empty. Wasn't it a Saturday? Before Tord could get too deep into his thoughts, Tom dragged him towards the counter, pressing his face up against the display case. The employee behind the counter had a confused look on her face, her eyes going from Tord to Tom. "Your son?" she guessed. "Oh, no," Tord replied. The employee patiently waited for Tord to explain. When he didn't, she slowly reached towards the phone on the wall. Seeing this, he quickly spoke up. "He's not my son. He's my friend's son. I'm just watching him for the day," Tord lied. The employee let out a sigh of relief and crossed her arms. "Thank goodness. Sorry, but we have a man in a black hoodie walk into an ice cream parlor, a poorly dressed child. There are going to be some questions." Oh. Tord, she laughed. Tord nodded in agreement. Poorly dressed? Tom looked up from the display case, pouting. "Oh, sorry. Anyways, what can I do for you?" The employee smiled. Tord looked down at Tom, who excitedly pointed to the tub of ice cream. One cookies and cream?" Tord replied. "All right. What size?" the employee asked again. "Mr. Tord, can I get a large? Please?" Tom begged. "You know you can't eat all of that, Tom. How about a small?" Tord sighed. "What?" Tom had an offended look on his face. "Fine, let's meet halfway. Does a medium sound alright?" Tord suggested. I can't say that word. Suggested. Tom grinned. "Alright, you heard the kid." Tord sighed. The employee giggled and began to scoop Tom's ice cream from the tub. "And what would you like? And would you like anything else?" she asked. "No, I'm good." Tord shrugged. Tom looked up at Tord. Come on, Mr. Tord. Tord? I think you deserve some ice cream." He laughed. "Yeah, Mr. Tord," the employee mocked, laughing along with Tom. Tord felt a need to punch someone, preferably the employee, but he managed to hold in his anger for Tom's sake. "Fine. Chocolate for me, just a small." Tord finally gave up. "Here you two are." The employee cheered, handing Tord the ice cream. Tord gave Tom his and politely asked him to go find them a table. Tom nodded and walked off. "How much do I owe you?" Tord asked, pulling out his wallet. "You know what? It's on the house," the employee asked. What?" Tord asked. Look, I'm quitting tomorrow, so I could honestly care less. You seem like a nice guy who's apparently great with children. Even if you do seem a bit grumpy. I can tell you care." The employee nodded. So that warrants free ice cream?" Tord frowned. "Well, you're cute, so that certainly helps." The employee winked. She handed him a random slip of paper. "Back up, bitch!" I'm sorry. Tord scowled and walked toward the table Tom had picked out. He was a bit worried when he saw that their table was near the window, but quickly went away. Once he saw there was barely anyone on the streets. Wait, no one out on Saturday? Tord was seriously confused. He sat down across from Tom, who was practically inhaling his ice cream, just Kirby style. "Tom, you're going to give yourself a freezy headache." Tord sighed. "I am not. Ow!" Tom grabbed his head, and there it is. Tord chuckled. He quietly ate his ice cream, and it had been a while since Tord had so much as looked at ice cream. He hated to admit it, but it was a nice change of pace. Are you all right, Mr. Tord? Oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh my god, this indigestion is killing me. I know, y'all are probably so disgusted by me. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Are you alright, Mr. Todd? Tom asked after recovering from his headache. Yeah, why wouldn't I be? I don't know. You just seem sad. Tom shrugged. Well, I can assure you I'm not. Hey, what's that? Tom pointed towards the slip of paper in Tord's hand. Tom! Did I say Tom or Tord? I can't tell. Tord had honestly forgotten the employee had even given it to him. He unfolded it to reveal it was a phone number. Bitch, back the Okay, I'm sorry. Tord glanced over at the employee who was silently watching him from the counter. She gave him a wink and then went back to cleaning. Ugh. Tord rolled his eyes. Clearly he wasn't interested. Oh, I think she likes you. Oh, I think she likes you. Tom giggled. Really? What was your first clue? Tord asked it sarcastically. You don't like her? You didn't like her? No, she's not my type. Because you like boys! Okay. Tord took a second to silently ask himself, was he having this conversation with a child? Mr. Tord, your phone is ringing. Oh, so it is. Thank you, give me a second. Tord picked up the phone and answered it. Patrick's concerned voice came over through the other end. Red leader, sir, are you there? Patrick panicked. Patrick, slow down. Get the hold of yourself. What's wrong? Tord growled. One of the soldiers just reported a huge storm heading towards town. You need to get back here with Tom immediately if you don't want to end up getting caught in it, Patrick explained. A storm? Oh yeah, the storm. It's been big news lately. Oh Lord. I know, right? Most businesses are fucking hell. Jesse-chan, no. Most businesses are shut down today, so but my boss was just too determined, I guess. But since everyone's held up at home, we haven't gotten a lot of business, the employee chimed in. Apparently she had been listening in on Tord's conversation the whole time. Look, Patrick, I'll try to get there with Tom as soon as I can. And if I'm not there before the storm starts, then do not go looking for me. I'll try to find a place where we can take shelter until it passes over. If we can't get there in time. I know, right? I'm having the struggles reading this because I'm tired as fuck. Tord finally replied. Yes, sir. I'll tell Paul as well. Good luck out there. Paul sighed, hanging up. Are you done with that ice cream yet? What? Well, yeah. Oh, are you done with that ice cream yet? What? Well, yeah. Why? Tom had apparently missed Tord's entire conversation. We have to get going, otherwise we'll get caught in the storm that's coming, Tord explained. Oh no, let's go! Tom quickly followed Tord out the door. Call me! Bitch, back the fuck up! Okay. They heard the employee shout. Tord grabbed Tom's hand and was rushing towards the end of town, towards the base. Unfortunately, it was beginning to rain. No. Poor. Crap. Tord grunted. This way! Tom pulled Tord over to a building, dragged him in it. It was abandoned by the looks of it, and yet it seemed like someone had practically been living there. Tord spotted a few pictures taped to the wall, recognizing familiar faces of Ed and Matt, and of course, Tom. Had this been a place Tom's adult self hung out? How did he know where this was? I just did. Oh, how did you know where this was? I just did. Tom seemed just as confused as Tord was. This was good. This meant his memories were already starting to come back. Tom, in small come back to Tom in small bursts. What wasn't good was that they were now trapped in the middle of a storm. Tord walked over to the windows and wiped some of the dust off of with his sleeve, watching the streets flood with rainwater. He squinted, focusing on a small slip of paper being washed away. Tord reached into his pockets. That dumb employee's phone number was gone. Maybe this wasn't such a bad situation at all. Maybe this wasn't such a bad situation after all. Last chapter, everyone. Oh my god, man. Oh my gosh, I've been reading for 1 hour and 15 minutes, which means I started at 9, 8. Hold on, I'm trying to do the math right now. I can't math, okay? Don't judge me. Oh goodness, which means we have 36 more chapters to go after this one, so yeah, fun. Paul watched Patrick hang up on their leader, with a worried expression. So what's up? Are they on their way back? Paul asked. They said they'll try to get here as soon as possible, but if the storm gets here before they do, I guess we'll have to hope for the best. Patrick sighed. See, I told you, if we had invested in a radio or something, we would have known the storm was coming. But no, we needed that money for things like ammo and medical supplies. Man, when are people going to start listening to me? Paul complained. Never, Paul. Shut up. Oh God. Maybe when you actually come up with something useful, Patrick teased. Hey, whatever, come on. We need to fortify the base. We're no good to Red Leader dead. Yeah, for real. Patrick shrugged, referring to the storm. Nah, knowing him, he'd find some other way to use our deaths as an advantage. Paul chuckled. Patrick was about to argue, but then he gave up before he even began. I'm sorry. My teeth are being weird. Or, wait, what? Mostly because he knew Paul was probably right. Oh, hi. I didn't see you two there. Guess we should start preparing for the storm soon. The medic chuckled nervously chuckled, slowly approaching them. Great, it's you. Paul frowned. Patrick glared at him with a simple wave to the medic. Hello, medic. Sorry about Paul. He's just grumpy since our leader and Tom are both stuck out somewhere in a random part of town. Patrick lied. But he didn't lie. Paul opened his mouth, ready to protest, but Patrick elbowed him in the ribs, temporarily preventing him from doing so. Oh dear, are they? Well, we seem to be in quite a pickle, the medic chuckled. Yeah. Paul replied. Yeah. Wait, yeah. Wait, yeah, Paul replied, not entirely sure how else to respond. I mean, not to be rude or anything, but I'm kind of relieved Tom is stuck with him. Tom scares me a little. The medic sighed. Really? We had no idea, Paul gasped. Clearly, he was being sarcastic. Honestly, medic, you simply must grow a spine. No, Jesse-chan. Hello. This is the last chapter, by the way, so it should take me a few more minutes to finish this off. A voice sighed. They turned towards the voice to find the researcher, holding a clipboard. A researcher! Hello! How long have you been standing there? The medic asked. I began walking over here a few seconds ago. However, fret not. I was only able to hear you admitting you being afraid of a young child. The researcher smirked. Hey, can you blame me? He's a monster. The medic winked. Unfortunately, I am able to sympathize with you. Unlike you three, I am unable to sympathize with you. Unlike you three, I had the first experience with Tom. Wait, I have not had first-hand experience with Tom. I only know what the Red Leader has told me. The researcher explained. Huh. Well, what's his point of view? Paul asked, lighting a cigarette. When describing Tom's previous adult form, the Red Leader gets very frustrated and normally cannot give me a full description without breaking into tears or breaking something in his general vicinity. Wow. Patrick was dumbfounded. Yes, it would seem that our leader's desire for revenge is quite strong. However, when I requested for further information about Tom in his current form, he seemed to be different. The researcher continued. Different how? Paul asked. He still appeared to regard Tom with hatred, but he is actually capable of giving me a full description, and his tone seems to be a lot softer, and honestly, I have not asked the Red Leader about Tom's adult form for a long time. In fact, I haven't asked him about it since before he brought Tom here. She trailed off. What does that have to do with anything? The medic asked. One of the main reasons Red Leader trusts me with most of our battle plans is that my ability My ability to predict a person's actions is nearly perfect, and I can predict that if we were to ask the Red Leader, our leader, about Tom's adult form now, there would be a 90% chance he would say that he doesn't know what to think anymore. Oh? The researcher smiled. No offense or anything, babe, but what? Wait, what? Did he just call her babe? Hold on! Paul wasn't getting it. Babe? Patrick asked, confused by Paul's wording. Sorry, I've been giving everyone nicknames lately. I was just testing that one out, Paul shrugged. If it is all right with you, I would prefer not to call me that ever, the researcher growled. Sorry. Paul chuckled. Nicknames? Oh, what's mine? The medic grinned. Meat shield. Paul laughed. Oh. The medic was clearly disappointed. And Pat's is obvious. Paul smirked, putting a hand on Patrick's shoulder. Patrick reached over and brushed Paul's hand off of him. Why don't you put your hand on your babe's shoulder? Patrick angrily whispered under his breath. What? Paul asked, not quite catching what Patrick had said. Nothing. I said nothing. Hey, whatever happened to fortifying the base? Come on, we should get started. Patrick quickly replied. I want to help, the medic cheered. Look, Meat Shield, that's nice. But where do we even begin? Oh, sorry. Paul groaned. Yeah, I'm kind of dying inside right now. Well, while you were having that argument about fruitless activities such as creating nicknames, I was informing the rest of the army about the storm. The researcher sighed, holding up her phone. She managed to send a message to every single soldier in such a short amount of time? Oh, sorry. Paul seemed apathetic about this news. Patrick chuckled in disbelief, and the medic gave her a look of admiration. Impressive! The medic finally managed to stutter out. I am aware. Anyways, they should have things taken care of on their ends. The better course of action for us would be to start with the windows. The researcher replied. Paul, Patrick, and the medic nodded in agreement. One by one, They made their way up to the ladder, to their so-called second floor. Patrick sighed. What's up, Pat? Paul asked. I'm going to ask you to do something for me, but it's pretty difficult, not to mention intense. Are you up for it? Sure, I guess. Paul, what is it? I need you to close the window you normally guard. Patrick chuckled, dropping a serious act. Hey, were you trying to make fun of me? What? No, me? Never. I say that all the time, it's funny. I wasn't trying, I was succeeding. I wasn't trying, I was succeeding. Patrick snickered. Shut up. Paul laughed, playfully punching Patrick's arm. Meanwhile, the medic and the researcher watched as the two playfully argued and made fun of each other as they worked together to close the giant window. I swear, if those two continue to interact like that, I'll be forced to change my Red Army relationships chart again. Oh, the researcher mumbled. Remind me, why do you have a relationship chart in the first place? It doesn't sound like something the Red Leader would request from you, the medic asked. It's a personal project. According to the Red Leader, I am permitted to do whatever free research I wish to do. Oh my god. I wish to do as long as it does not get in the way of our battles. The researcher explained. A relationship chart. Couldn't that affect battles? Personal relationships can lead to poor judgment. The medic shrugged. Fine. It could inadvertently, I'm sorry, I'm so stupid, affect battles, but I am not required to tell Red Leader everything about my free research. Only the research he requests. The researcher grinned. So basically you found a loophole. Yes, that analogy seems appropriate. Does seem appropriate in this circumstance. The researcher chuckled. Finished! Pat exclaimed, walking back to the medic and the researcher. What are supposed to do about the broken window? The medic, what are supposed to do? I'm sorry. The medic frowned. The researcher's eyes landed on a crate shoved in the corner. Paul followed her gaze. What exactly are we supposed to do with a box of flash grenades? Paul chuckled. Not the grenades. The crate itself. She walked over to the crate and carefully removed the flash grenades. What are you doing? The medic seemed most confused. Oh my god. The researcher didn't answer. Instead, she lifted her foot and began stomping on the crate, breaking it into pieces. Someone has a strong leg, Paul laughed. It's the boots. I created them with help from the lead scientist. The researcher bent down and began retrieving the planks of wood. Oh, I get it. We bored up the broken part of the window, Patrick grinned. Precisely. The researcher nodded, holding out the wood to them. Glad you two are the smart ones. Paul winked at Patrick and the researcher. Yeah. Wait, what is that supposed to mean? The medic whined. Shut up and help us help us board up the window, Meat Shield. Patrick sighed. Great, now everyone's calling me that. What about you, researcher? Do you want to take a crack at me too? The medic snapped. Huh? My apologies. I'm afraid I was not listening. I was slightly occupied. The researcher looked up from her clipboard, only to be face to face with the clearly offended medic. Really? Is it your relationship chart? The medic asked. Perhaps. Seriously? Perhaps this is why you're never included in the chart. Fascinating. What? I'm not? The medic pouted, completely forgetting about ever being mad. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with my hair? There is a knot. Oh, and I just ripped out my hair. Oh, isn't that lovely? Yeah. Alright. Are you actually going to help us? Patrick rolled his eyes. Probably not. That's fine though. I'd rather not have to deal with that meat shield. He'd just find some way to break the window even more. Paul chuckled. Paul. Hold on, Paul? Patrick frowned. What? You can't. Yeah. I do tend to write stories, but I stopped after a while. I'm dying. Okay, sorry. I was reading. You can't keep insulting him. He's our medic. If you get hurt or something, guess who has to help you? Guess who has to help you? Whatever, Pat. Just get this thing boarded up so we can get some sleep or something. Is sleep all you care about? Patrick scolded. Paul looked over at Patrick, smiling. While I do love to sleep, I will say there are other things I care about, Paul nearly whispered. Patrick shrugged and went back to work. Clearly, Paul's flirting attempt went over his head. Paul let his eyes linger on Patrick for a few minutes before finally helping him to board up the window. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you two had already started. Wish I could have helped, the medic sighed. There's nothing that can be done now. It would be wise for us to go back to the first floor. Higher ground is not ideal for dangerous weather. The researcher cleared her throat. Right, and we should probably stick together. Someone getting lost is probably a worst-case scenario, Patrick added. Fantastic. I don't know about you, but I feel like we could all use a little bonding, The medic chuckled. Oh my god, I hate my life. The storm better pass quickly, Paul growled. Patrick grabbed his arm and gave him a fearful look. Sorry. Paul sighed and gave up on his original plan to insult the medic any further. If Pat didn't want him to do something, then he wouldn't do it. No questions asked. Oh my god, my throat is dying. So we basically read from, chapter 15 to 20? That's only or did we read 10 chapters? I know I read from 4 to... I've been reading all night. Let's just say that. I've been reading since about 7:30. It's currently 11:13, with only a 10 to 20 minute gap in between. I haven't eaten. I've only drinking once. I am dying. Okay, guys, well, that's it for now. Peace, peeps. I'm going to bed, or I'm eating. I'm probably going to make some bacon. Peace.